All right, guys. We're back on Southeastern 16. Max Barr, the legend. You're getting Max on a Friday. Unusual that
Come
is.
on.
So you can blame me for that. We'll talk about that in a second. Yours truly has been under the weather a bit here over the past week. But we're back, and boy, are we back with a doozy here, Max. We're like, we were going to, like, do we hold this off? Because, like, we've already went the entire week, didn't do our usual Tuesday because I didn't have a voice. But, it's ChatGPT. We got to talk about it this week, right? We can't hold this off another week. So, ChatGPT is going to predict the 25-26 SEC basketball season, and it's going to be something.
Thank God it's Friday.
Mm.
Thank God it is Friday. No better day to talk about some college hoops than on a beautiful Friday in mid-August. Am I right, Blake? Am I right? There's nothing I would rather be doing right now than be talking SEC hoops.
We are less than 3 months away from the tip-off of the season. And so, never too early to start getting in your bets, one could say, for the upcoming season. Over with our friends at FanDuel, the title sponsor here now at Southeastern 16. We keep telling you about them. Check them out. They got all the great stuff we've been telling you about on all of our shows here on the channel. The same game parlays, the player props, all these different combinations you can work with. Of course, the NFL is almost here. College football is almost here. Get all your bets in there. And they've got you covered over at FanDuel. Competitive odds, tons of betting options. Remember, bet responsibly. Have some fun with it. Max, FanDuel is new to the channel. You know what else is new to the channel? There's something on your screen right now. It's a little bit new, perhaps, to Southeastern 16. Can you spot what that is on the screen right now?
It's looking better than I thought it would look. I'll tell you that much.
Look at that. Folks, the merch is almost here. I told you 2 weeks ago it'd be here in a week, so of course it's going to be 3 weeks. But the plan is next week. You can see one of the beauties has already been sent in. We've already got our hands on some of the other stuff as well, and it's looking good. But we want to make sure everything is exactly what you guys need it to be. And so the merch, this is one of several hat options you're going to have to support Southeastern 16. You'll have some other options as well. Sweatshirts, hoodies, T-shirts, mugs, stickers, beanies. They got it all. So Southeastern 16 merch store coming soon. All right, Max, are you ready? Chat GPT. Don't worry, Big Gator EJ. Trucker hat's one of the options. I got that one coming too pretty soon. So you guys will have that available. All right, Barry's barking. Are we ready to go?
I'm excited for this episode. It's going to be a fun one. I got some fun props.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. All right. So Max has some fun props we're going to start with. I think mine's a good one that we're going to use after yours because mine is a very all-encompassing. It's going to be a wild ride with the one that I have for the prompt. But all right, here's what we're going to do. So let me get this pulled up. And don't worry, I did get I got the paid version here, Max. I wasn't going to do this cheap stuff for this particular episode. We're going all in on ChatGPT, whatever the number is. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull it up on the screen. We're going to type the prompt.
Okay.
How did you want to do it?
I already had.
Oh, you've already got these. Okay. All right, do that then. Let's go with yours first. Yeah, you can pull them up, and then I'm going to put mine in, and we're gonna watch it do its magic. So.
Okay, let me share my screen here because what I did is I put my stuff into ChatGPT and then I copied it down onto a Google Doc.
That works.
I'll show you the Google Doc. Here we go. Let me try to resize this real quick.
All right.
There we go. Is that better? Can you read that?
Fine. I mean, I can't.
Okay.
But...
Here we go. ChatGPT predictions. What I wanted to know, guys, because Blake, if you saw on Twitter the last 2 weeks, SEC head coaching rankings have been a topic of debate.
Oh boy,
topic of debate. Look at this now. ChatGPT, rank your SEC basketball head coaches based on who you would like as your favorite team, because you have to give it some sort of,
Right.
basis for what to go off of. And so this says, ChatGPT says, basically, who brings me the best mix of winning, culture, player development, and excitement? Here's my take. Todd Golden, number one, because he just won a national title. Excellent at developing young talent and modern coaching style. Proven winner, great for building a sustainable winning culture. Do you have any problems with Todd Golden at the one there?
Well, I mean, I figured ChatGPT would have Todd Golden at one because he just won a national championship. And so I can't say I'm surprised by this. What are your thoughts on Golden at one?
I don't think I would have put Golden at one, just because look at some of these names right below me. Just coming off the national title, but he is very young. Yeah, Bruce Pearl, Nate Oates. I know a lot of people on the discussion the past week had Nate Oates as the number one head coach in the SEC. I don't think there's any definitive you're insane if they're not number one. I think there's a few guys here at the top that you could put into that argument, and each of them you'd have your cases.
Again, and this was like me trying to predict what like a ChatGPT would do. I figured Golden would be at one. I have made my arguments before about Bruce Pearl and why I have made an argument that he should be at one in these discussions. But I think, again, it's like if you're looking at how many guys on this list that you're about to go through have a national championship, right?
Yep.
I mean, Todd Golden now has one, and this guy has not been coaching very long at the head coaching level or at Florida. So, like, he's got to be up there at the top. Whether you think, whatever about, oh, well, you may have opposing fan base say, well, he got lucky or whatever. I'm not buying it. But the thing is, he has a national championship, and that's what every single coach and every single fan base that we talk about strives for. So there has to be some validity there to say, hey, he's got to be up there near the top. I've said, I think, for over a long period of time, you obviously can't argue with Cal's success either. And it is something where, like, recency bias will say, no, he's not achieving what he did at the beginning. But, like, again, look at the resumes, how many guys, right, and all that. But the bigger point is the part after favorite team's head coach for the 25-26 season.
Yep.
That's the qualifier going into this year. And I think that's why Golden has to be high. Not surprised to see Cal lower. But that's, like I said, I think Bruce Pearl, to me, over the longest amount of time, multiple Final Fours at Auburn, just the guy has just won everywhere he's been. And you can say the same about who? Nate Oates. You can say the same about Rick Barnes. Like, you could just keep going down. Like, it's a loaded league with coaches.
I will say, if I've never watched college basketball before, and a friend of mine says, Max, you need to get into college basketball. You got a blank slate. You've never watched the sport. Pick a team, any team. Who do you want to root for? I'm probably going to take whoever won it all the year before.
Sure.
People like to root for a winner. ChatGPT likes to root for a winner. There you go, Alan.
All right, what else interests you on this list here?
Okay, so as we move down, so there's the top 6. You see Porter Moser at 5, Blake. Porter Moser, you guys know from last year. I stick up for my guy, Porter Moser. Final Four, he does. He does have a Final Four. Does he have another one in him? Oh, that would be a bold prediction. But I liked Moser getting up there at 5. You've got Barnes, consistent, solid option for steady competitive basketball without wild swings. Look at that defensive efficiency rating. The consistency there is why we're confident in Tennessee being a solid team again. How about this? Sean Miller and Chris Jans there at 7 and 8. Blake, Chris Jans gets into the top half of the SEC coaching rankings along with Sean Miller. There you can see him right there. How do you like Miller and Jans getting in the top half there?
You're telling me they're putting Chris Jans at number 8. So, because they know that that's as low as it gets. There is no chance you can put this guy any lower. For everybody, as we keep talking about, our fun we're having this offseason, everybody's picking Mississippi State to be lower. I said, I got to see it before I'm going to believe it. The guy just finds a way to get the wins every year. And so we'll see. But yeah, I mean, Sean Miller, like I said, everybody can bring up the stuff at Arizona and all that, but the guy can coach, and that's why we're high on Texas, because I think the roster is really good and they're going to win. And he wins games where he goes. And so, yeah, I think here's where I'm starting to forget who else is on the list.
Ooh.
So, like, this is where I have to start comparing because I'm trying to remember. I feel like there's someone that's not up there that I think should be, but I don't remember who it is.
How about those two coming in there? Lamont Paris, rising coach. The ChatGPT leaned on the SEC Coach of the Year award. I ran this prompt a few times to make sure I got it accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Every time with Lamont Paris, they listed the SEC Coaching Award. And then look at this. ChatGPT, it's not Bucky McMillan. They already know. It's Buckyball. ChatGPT knows it's Buckyball. Get excited. I'm surprised Bucky wasn't higher on this list because look at great for fans who want exciting, high energy basketball and culture change. What more could you want from a new coach? That's exactly what you're looking for.
All right, keep going because I'm starting to remember there's a couple guys here that I'm trying to figure out where the hell are they.
11 is
right,
Dennis.
Number 11.
There's one coach.
Okay.
There's one coach in the bottom that I'm like, ChatGPT, you don't know what the heck you're talking about.
And I'm trying to remember. There is one guy I'm thinking of right now, and I'm like, why is he not up here?
I know.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're definitely to the point where ChatGPT has gone wrong because there's a guy I'm like, why are we're sitting here in the top 12 and he's not there? Keep going.
Yeah, we have two more to go. So McMahon at 12, Dennis Gates at 11, 13 is Mark Pope.
Oh, God. What are you doing, ChatGPT? The entire audience just said, I'm out. Like, what are we doing here? 13.
Could be exciting long term, but still proving himself, says ChatGPT. You want to know which one I disagree with even more? At 14, Chris Beard.
Yeah, that was the one I was trying to figure out. Where was he?
Charismatic and intense, but has had some off-court distractions. Could be a risk-reward pick. I'll side on the reward. Give me an Ole Miss Sweet 16. I'll take that as a Rebels fan. ChatGPT's off the rails.
Darren, I don't know what's going on here. Like, this whole episode's off the rails. We knew it was going to be because we're putting it in ChatGPT's hands, but if Mike White's at 16, we may cancel this rest of the show. There's no way Mike White's at 16.
At 15, Mike White.
Oh, my gosh. Like, even
solid,
that's just absurd.
But not flashy. Good for stability, not necessarily for excitement. Okay, GPT. Then at 16, Mark Byington. I disagree. I thought Byington would have been higher as in terms of exciting compared to the last few years of Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt fans are pretty dang excited this year. However, there you go. ChatGPT ranks the head coaches list. It doesn't matter if you're a real human or if you're an AI. If you put out SEC coaching rankings, you're going to get ridiculed. That's the moral of the story.
All right. Well, moral of the story through the first prompt here is that ChatGPT hates Kentucky. So that's what we've established off the beginning. All right. Speaking of which, don't you have another one that relates to Kentucky here? Was that another one of the prompts? All right.
I do.
Let's just tie that in because I think this is the biggest one. Came out
this
of that.
one,
Chris Beard and Mark Pope being that low was kind of ridiculous.
I won't share my screen for this one because it takes up the entire page, so there wouldn't be much point. But this was, I think, GPT. We need a name for ChatGPT. Said that this was their best response at any prompt. Sometimes you get I was asking ChatGPT for, SEC player rankings and stuff, and I'm getting like Trey Johnson, and I'm getting guys that I'm ChatGPT, they're not in the league anymore. Then it started just giving me made up players and seeing if I would catch it. We had a back and forth. But anyways, I asked ChatGPT, what does Mark Pope have to achieve in year 2 to satisfy Kentucky fans? And they gave me a good answer. Here is a realistic benchmark based on Kentucky's recent history, recent expectations, and SEC competitiveness on what Mark Pope will have to achieve in year 2 to satisfy Kentucky fans. Exact record goal. At least, overall, at least, how many wins do you think ChatGPT says Kentucky has to get to satisfy the Cats fans? It gives an exact record.
27.
Holy smokes. At least 27-7. Wow.
Ooh.
Okay.
Right.
Last year, the Cats went 24-12. So that would be an improvement. In the SEC, at least. It gives an exact goal. All right. Exact record goal in the SEC, 14-4. Can you see my screen?
Is it possible? Is it possible that I am in charge of ChatGPT? No, because that coach ranking list was absurd. But I know these things. Like, all right, 27-14. What else?
27 wins overall, at least 14-4 in the conference to satisfy Kentucky fans. Postseason goal. SEC tournament. Reach at least the blank in the SEC.
It's got to be the championship game, probably. Because otherwise,
semis.
No,
GPT says semis.
Come on. Kentucky fans, let's be honest. Are you rooting for, hey, I'm excited to get to the semis? No. Everybody wants to get to the championship game. Come on.
No.
It's all about goals here.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay, this one's nice. NCAA Tournament. Earn at least a top blank seed and reach at least the blank.
Well, earn at least a top 4 seed.
Yep.
Reach at least, if you're a top 4 seed, then you have to at least get to the Sweet 16. But I think if you're talking about like expectations, you want to get to the Elite 8. But if you're a top 4 seed, at worst, it's the Sweet 16. But this is Kentucky. So
ChatGPT is aligning with you here. Earn a top 4 seed. Ideally, it says in parentheses, ideally a 2 or 3 seed and reach at least the Elite 8. Why these numbers? It gives an explanation. Why Elite 8? The minimum Kentucky fans expect. Kentucky standard is regularly making the Elite 8 or beyond. This is a baseline of progress and tournament success. A deeper run would be ideal, but is often dependent on draw and other tournament factors. Why 14-4? This means finishing top 2 in the conference. Kentucky fans expect dominance or near dominance this year in the SEC. Hit these benchmarks, and most Kentucky fans will feel Mark Pope is meeting expectations in year 2. Miss these benchmarks, and there will likely be disappointment and increased pressure for year 3. I think I agree with that.
All right. So that, Al did a little bit better this time around. So that's a better response than you got for the first one. What are the? You had another one. Was it projected NCAA tournament or something like that?
Yep.
All right.
You want me to go through that
one? And then if you want to talk about things going off the rails, folks, things are really going to go off the rails with mine. So I'm literally going to pull it up, and we're just going to watch ChatGPT spew out an absolute thing of beauty based on what I'm going to ask it. So.
Okay. So how many teams do you think ChatGPT projected to make the tournament?
Well, okay. So knowing how ChatGPT works, it's going to go out and just pull bracketologies that are already there. And my guess is, because Lenardi's will be one of the bases, one of the sources, he's got 14. I don't know how many other bracketologies exist right now. So I'm going to say it's probably 14 or maybe 12.
Oh, right in the middle. 13.
Huh.
13.
Okay.
All right, I'll start at the top.
Who's getting left out here? Now I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm going to have a pitchfork when we get to that in my hand. There are a few shockers, but you could kind of see most of them. Okay, no 1 seeds. I'm pretty sure that is what Lenardi has. Anyways, 2 seed, we have 1. It's the Cats. Kentucky draws a 2 seed. A 3 seed, we have 1. Alabama. ChatGPT's high on the tide. Some 3-point shooting here and there. I know Big Baller Brett was talking about Aiden Holloway playing in the Canadian U23. 4 seed. This is the big shock, Blake. This is the big shock. And I love that this happened because we were just talking about them last week. The shock of the year, ChatGPT. The shock of the year.
Oh no, is it LSU?
4 seed. A 4 seed. The LSU Tigers.
Listen, if you want to say that we don't have an impact on ChatGPT, clearly we do. Because if you would have done this 2 weeks ago, there's no way that ChatGPT would have given LSU a 4 seed. But because last week we hyped them up, they are absolutely saying, you know what? We're listening. We're pulling. They're pulling from everywhere. And they're saying, we're all in on the Tigers.
I thought that one. I had to double take when I saw that. Hey, I think they gave me a reasoning for all of them, and they said like really strong front court, anchored by strong point guard play. And I was like, I can't deny that. That is
There's
what they
nothing
have.
wrong with that. Yeah.
The questions are in between that. But yeah, so shock of the year, LSU's a 4 seed. Hey, just 2 years ago, the team that was predicted last got what, a 6 seed or something.
Yeah.
So
let's not. Come on, it's possible.
Yep.
But.
So 5 seeds, we have 2. It's the Gators. They're a little bit low on the Gators, 5 seed. And Auburn. Auburn is a 5 seed. And I was like, man, is that really that low on the Gators? But I was like, hey, 2 years ago they were a 7, and they were still pretty good. Things go wrong. I wouldn't be the absolute worst thing in the world, but definitely would be below expectations. So Auburn and Florida as a 5. 6, we have 2 6s also. Tennessee and Texas. ChatGPT likes Sean Miller, Blake. ChatGPT likes Miller. We got that. Then we've got 2 7s. Arkansas. Low on Arkansas.
Ooh.
Yep. But again, what was Arkansas last year in the tournament? So
yeah,
not crazy. And Oklahoma as a 7. Hi, I'm Porter Moser as well. And then we have no 8s. We have a 9 seed, Texas A&M. Likes buckyball.
Okay.
10 seed, we have 2. It's Missouri and Ole Miss.
Okay.
No 11s. Somehow got a 12 seed. I don't know how that worked, but Mississippi State.
Maybe they won the conference tournament.
Maybe they won the conference tournament.
Was a bottom 4 in the regular season, won the conference tournament, got a 12 seed.
Missing the tournament, South Carolina, Georgia, and I raise my pitchfork when I say Vanderbilt.
Oh, I was like, who were we forgetting? The Commodores. Yep. Oh, brutal.
Yep. I will say though, while I don't agree with all those, LSU having ChatGPT saying LSU 4 seed, and then just 2 years ago, South Carolina was picked dead last in the conference. They got what, a 6? I think it was a 6 seed. It's not crazy to predict a bottom 3-ish team to have a breakout season. It just happened.
Yeah. It feels like it's harder, but like we would have said that the year South Carolina did it too. And so it is possible. Like again, we have recent evidence of this in the SEC, no less. So interesting, ChatGPT.
Yep.
All right, we'll get back to the festivities shortly. But as Anthony notes here, you know what? We got an SEC podcast talking basketball right before the start of football season. What a strange new world. As Anthony and everybody else knows too, we're talking basketball year-round here at Southeastern 16 because the league is that good. I'll tell you who else is that good. Game Time Sidekicks.
Ooh.
The officially licensed stainless steel drinkware. All SEC schools. Over 350 more universities are out there. Top of the market quality as far as the construction and ice retention. They got all the designs, all the logos. They have the College Vault line, the stainless steel sippy cups, the tumblers, 40-ounce bottles, the shaker cups. It's all there. If you typed into ChatGPT, tell me something about Game Time Sidekicks. You know what it's going to say? Use the code SE16 for 20% off. If you're a viewer for Southeastern 16, SE16, 20% off for our loyal viewers there. GameTimeSidekicks.com. Check them out. Also, check out our friends at ROKFORM. Keep telling you about these phone cases. Strongest phone cases ever. The world's most magnetic, it's the world's strongest magnetic phone case.
There you go.
I guess it could also be the most magnetic. That's a thing too. Extreme protection, super strong magnets, rock lock, secure mounting. The most durable, multifunctional phone cases. They got them all there at ROKFORM. Quality is paramount. Expect the same military grade standards with those cases and the accessories. They got everything over there at our friends at ROKFORM. Check them out. A lot of fun stuff on the way for the new iPhone coming out and everything as well. So check it out. And remember, SEC25, 25% off over at ROKFORM, ROKFORM.com. So, all right, let's get back to it here. Sam wants to know, how do we get a hat like I have on? Well, Sam, that's also a great question. Southeastern 16 merch store coming hopefully next week. That's the plan. Next week is the planned launch, and may have a little sale for you guys too, right off the bat. So tune in. This is one of several hat options you'll have. As we said earlier, you'll also have a lot of hoodies, sweatshirts, T-shirts, all kinds of stuff to work with. And, so hope you guys enjoy it. It's going to be fun. All right. Shout out to Jeff. Loving the podcast. 2 years running now. Go Gators, Jeff says. And by the way, I know you guys are asking some questions regarding some potential choices for certain people, players, that is. We'll get to that here in just a bit. All right. And remember, we're still going to talk about Alabama and Purdue as well. That's our way too early focus of the week in terms of our non-conference games.
Yeah.
All right. Are we ready, Max? Because I think I've got one that could come up with the wildest scenarios we could get in SEC basketball this season. So,
I have no clue what you're about to. I have no clue what you're about to do.
You got no clue. So, I've got a couple things here, and they play off of each other. So, should we just pull up Mr. GPT and just on the fly? Let's just see what it spits out at us. So we're not gonna run this a couple times. We're just gonna go with what he gives us. Okay. I think that's a fair option here. So
okay. All right.
Here we go. So we're gonna pull this up. Of course, ChatGPT asking you can probably fix this, Max, to where maybe it's a little smaller on the screen.
God, that where
that didn't work. But I mean, maybe this is the preferred option for some people, but it could be.
God,
it could be an option. By the way, people are talking about the shirts and hats. Brian wants a Chris Lee hat, saying it would sell out. Sam's making derogatory comments towards Chris and wanting shirts that do the same. But that's no surprise coming from Sam.
This is the best thing I'm going to be able to do, I think.
All right. Well, if we can't make this work, we may just try to. All right. So actually, here's what we'll do. Just pull this off the screen. And
okay.
We will. I'll do the same thing you did. So again, it happens sometimes here, but you guys are used to it.
Welcome to the show, folks. Welcome to the show.
I'm just going to plug in my prompt here. All right, so here's my prompt, Max. ChatGPT, I would like you to create a fictional story based on the 25-26 SEC basketball season.
Oh, my gosh.
Discuss the biggest surprises and disappointments, the regular season champion, NCAA tournament success, etc. Use your imagination to make sure that you create an entertaining read. All right. I think this is going to be pure gold. Okay? All right.
The blueprint, the
storyboard. Now remember, it's absolutely going to... I'm looking at this. Oh, my God. Oh, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
How'd you come up with this?
Oh, listen, I'm all in on this kind of stuff. All right. So, all right. Are we ready? Because here's what I'm going to do. We can pull this up, I think, as a screenshot. And so we're going to do this a little bit at a time, okay?
Okay.
Oh, this is going to get wild. All right, so let's see if we can make this work from a visual standpoint. By the way, if you're tuning in for the first time ever, congratulations. We have all kinds of technical issues most of the time. All right, are we ready? Here we go. Max, see if we can fix this. Oh, it's perfect. All right.
Oh, nice.
Here is a fictional, entertaining recap of the 25-26 SEC basketball season. A year of shockers, Cinderella runs, and a bluegrass coronation. Regular season, blue and white domination. The preseason polls had Kentucky pegged as a top 5 team nationally, but no one expected this. By the end of February, the Wildcats were sitting at 17-1 in SEC play. Their only blemish, a road stumble against a scrappy Texas A&M squad in January. Freshman guard.
What?
Oh my gosh. Malik Jet Henderson.
Yup.
This is too much.
Gotta love Jet.
Became a household
Hendo.
name by midseason, averaging 21 points per game and winning over fans with his gravity-defying dunks and late-game heroics. Head coach John Calipari, so he's back in Lexington, according to ChatGPT, who had been under fire in recent years, redeemed himself with a perfect blend of 5-star freshmen and seasoned transfers, leading Kentucky to an SEC regular season championship outright. So, I think we just replace one thing here. We replace Mark Pope with John Calipari. Kentucky is your regular season champion, according to ChatGPT, behind the fuel of Malik Jet Henderson. All right, so there's your starters. But now, Max, the next portion is going to be the one that really gets you. So, are you ready for this? Because it breaks down the biggest surprises and disappointments.
Okay.
All right.
I hope I'm not now disappointed by Jet Henderson's.
Well, you're going to see who the biggest surprises and disappointments are. Here we go. The biggest surprisement and disappointments. Number one, the biggest surprises. The Ole Miss Rebels. Projected to finish 10th in the conference, the Rebels rode the sharpshooting.
Travis
of sophomore.
For 3. Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, Travis Downtown McCree and the defensive grit of grad transfer Anthony Fields. By the way, Anthony Fields is the creator of the Wiggles. Don't ask me how I know that. To a 12-6 SEC record and a third-place finish. The Georgia Bulldogs, they're the number 2 team, by the way, the biggest surprises. Known more for football dominance, Georgia basketball stunned everyone by starting 8-0 in non-conference play. Okay. Including an upset over Duke. Oh. While they cooled off in February, they snagged the 9th seed in the NCAA Tournament, their first bid in over a decade. Well, that's not true. Biggest disappointments, number 1, the Tennessee Vols. Oh, no. Coming off back-to-back Sweet 16s, Tennessee never clicked offensively. Oh, God. Sam, you better run. That's a little ominous there.
Oh, no.
You've heard that before. Injuries to their top 2 scorers left them limping to an I see what they did there. To an 8-10 SEC record and an early exit in the SEC tournament. Oh my. Arkansas, number 2. Oh boy. With one of the most hyped recruiting classes in school history, expectations were sky high, but defensive lapses and chemistry issues. Arkansas fans, you don't want to hear that either. Sank them to a 500 record NIT berth. Oh my.
Oh no.
Yikes. All right.
No.
Well, that's not good. Wow. Okay. Well, let's continue on here.
Could you imagine a full raftery call on Travis Downtown McCree for 3?
Travis Downtown McCree.
Those onions.
Call it Chris Beard. See if he's recruiting that guy yet. All right.
Yep.
Here we go. Number 3. By the way, this gets better, folks. SEC tournament drama. In Nashville, the SEC tournament brought pure chaos. Kentucky looked poised to sweep through the bracket until Ole Miss shocked them in the semifinals with a buzzer beater by who else? McCree. The Rebels carried that momentum into the championship game, beating Auburn to win their first SEC tournament title since 1981. That's not correct, isn't it? They won the title with Marshall Henderson.
I don't know what they're talking about.
All right, ChatGPT, you're not working out very well here. NCAA Tournament storylines. Kentucky enters the 1 seed, reached the Final Four for the first time over a decade, falling in double overtime to Kansas. Oh, yikes.
Whoa.
Ole Miss, fresh off their SEC tournament run, the Rebels stunned number 2 Baylor to make the Sweet 16 before running out of gas against UConn. Georgia pulled off a 9-8 upset against Michigan State before bowing out to North Carolina in the second round. I can see something like that.
Take
The
it.
Gators, quietly consistent all season, made the Elite Eight before getting steamrolled by Kentucky. Oh, my. I'd like to see
gosh.
that. Steamrolled. All right, so there's
Steamrolled
that.
by the Jet.
Well, speaking of the Jet, he gets the final portion here of this particular prompt. And don't worry, this is going to get way better because my second prompt is about to throw all of this into pure chaos. But
this isn't chaos already?
Well, no, this isn't. I wouldn't consider this very much chaos. Well, see, Big Gator EJ, here's the thing. I tried this before without fictional, and it did the same thing. It still gave me like players that didn't exist. So it really doesn't matter. Player of the year, though, for Kentucky, Malik Jet Henderson, electrifying guard, top 3 NBA draft pick.
Yep.
Coach of the year, Chris Beard. So even though it didn't like him on your ChatGPT coach rankings, Chris Beard gets coach of the year. And as it says, the final verdict, season will be remembered for its unpredictability, Kentucky's return to national prominence, Ole Miss's magical March run, and the rise of programs like Georgia that shifted the balance of power. This year taught fans anything, it's that the SEC, I don't think they're going to be using this as the new slogan. Every night is a heavyweight fight. Call Garth. Are they going to replace it just means more with every night is a heavyweight fight? Should we get that as a t-shirt? I think that should be a new shirt.
Wow.
I think so.
Can't teach stuff like this, folks. Can't teach stuff like this.
Wow. All right, so your thoughts on that, because it's about to get a little bit better. What do you think about Malik Jet Henderson and downtown McCree?
I think we need to get a storyboard, we need to get talent, and we need to act this out. And this needs to be on IMAX on the big screens.
Max, okay. I did not see this at the bottom of this, but I was about to put in something else here to get a little bit more serious maybe. But here's exactly what it says. Quote, if you want, I can also create a fictional Sports Illustrated style feature on Malik Jet Henderson's rise and how he saved Kentucky basketball.
I might tear up.
If we don't do this one, I feel like we're doing ourselves a disservice. So I think we're going to have to, I'm just going to pull this. That may be what we end on this show, but I want to get to my other prompt in a second, but this is pretty incredible. What it's currently
don't forget,
spewing
folks,
out about.
We got way too early Alabama Purdue prediction to wrap up also.
Yeah, by the way, let's be honest. Like, this is all about just having fun because it's mid-August, and we were like, let's have some fun here. But we will get serious in a minute and talk about Alabama and Purdue and jet fuel or whoever we're going to be talking about in that game. But there is one more I want to do here. And it also says I can create a full fictional one shining moment style recap of the tournament if we want that too. So this is just, it's given me a lot to work with. But I think the more interesting one to me is we're going to kind of go with this, okay? And I know people are still asking questions, real questions here. Remember, this is ChatGPT time, folks. Here's what I want, okay? So, Max, are you ready for a season diary for what we just got? We're going to get a quick month-by-month overview of the biggest highlights for SEC basketball this upcoming season.
Hit me with it.
Are you ready? All right. Here we go. So, this is how it's all going to play out. Are you ready to go here?
I'm not sure what to expect. I don't know how crazy ChatGPT is going to get.
Well, the thing is, we're going to track some of these because we're going to go back and really see if it gets anything right. Oh, that's the wrong one. We're back to the jet again. Hold on. How do we pull the jet off here?
There you go. There you go.
Okay, there we go. All right, November, quickly. So the November recap is Kentucky blew the doors off of Arizona. Malik, the Jet, drops 27. Can we just replace Malik? Can we just call him Otega? Is that okay? Can we just
Or do we start calling Otega Jet?
That could be possible. Georgia with the win over Duke in Maui. I love Quinn. Quinn's jumping in. Sounds like a bunch of BS. Trust me, Quinn. There's been plenty of that. Plenty of that. So, yeah. Tennessee apparently has a star forward called Jalen Cross spraining his ankle.
Okay.
So, there you go. That's the November overview. Do you want...
Jet is making a name for himself early.
See, this is where... All right, I can't ChatGPT. ChatGPT still got Muss as the coach at Arkansas. I can't proceed. Like
this is where we draw the line. This is where we draw the line.
Like you can't do that. So, all right.
Audible.
Ridiculous.
Call a timeout. Full.
All right, we'll get to the feature on the chat at the end. But later. This is ridiculous now. All right. So Max, what did we learn here from the ChatGPT experience?
That every night is a heavyweight fight. We need. I don't have a better answer. We need that on a t-shirt.
All right, every night's a heavyweight fight here at the SEC. And by the way, I don't. Anthony, you're asking the question. Who are we fans of? Yeah, we're SEC. We cover the SEC.
A little bit of everybody.
So we root
changes
for
year by year.
Depends on how much you're paying us.
Depends on how much you win.
How much your super chats are. But all right, Holly's late to the party here. Good luck trying to figure out what we just deciphered from ChatGPT. But and yes, it's Quinn Notes, of course. Yes, an Auburn fan. I mean, if Quinn keeps dropping the super chats, then I have no choice. But all right, speaking of Auburn, we're not talking about them because we're talking about Alabama.
No, we're not.
Sorry.
Yes, we are.
They are the focus of our non-conference game of the week. And if you are just tuning in, you haven't seen a lot of our SEC stuff this offseason. We've been going through profiling a way too early look at a non-conference game, kind of one of the more focused type games with all that. And so, that's what we're gonna look at. We've already looked at who, Max? We've done
a bunch. We just did.
I can't keep up at this point. Auburn, Houston. We've done Kentucky. Who?
Louisville.
How did I forget that?
We did Florida, Arizona.
Yep. So quite a few out there if you want to go check out our thoughts on those. But all right, let's get into it. What's the date on this?
This is Alabama hosting Purdue. Remember, last year's game was at Mackey. This is going to be on a Thursday. This is going to be a Thursday night game on November 13th. So you're about a week and a half into the season. This is the second Thursday of the season. It's going to be at Alabama in Tuscaloosa. This is the rematch of last year's. Remember, last year's game was on a Friday. It was the 15th. So same thing. Second week of the season, you get Purdue, Alabama. Last year, Alabama lost 78 to 87. That was the C.J. Cox game when C.J. Cox for Purdue went 3 of 3 from outside in the second half and took the lead. I think Alabama had the lead. Yes, Alabama was up 65 to 59 with 11 minutes left last year, and then Purdue with the home crowd, with that Mackey crowd, some big shot making from some freshmen. Braden Smith had 17 and 10. TKR had 26 and 8. The stars that are going to be your stars this year had big games, and Purdue took the win last year at home. This year, Bart Torvik has the odds set at Alabama -1. So pretty much a pick 'em. Purdue's going to be one of your national champion favorites on FanDuel, if not the national champion favorite. I'm not sure, Blake, what those odds are at currently, but two of the hottest teams in the country from outside matching up second week of the season.
Purdue is currently the favorite to win the national championship. They are plus 900. Houston plus 1,000. So, yeah, Duke's plus 1,100. And then that's where you have a little bit of the drop off to the plus 1,700 crowd of Florida, Kentucky, and UConn. So those three sticking at the top. I think they've kind of bounced around a little bit in terms of the order maybe at times this offseason, but it's been pretty close with those three. So Purdue, yes. We've talked about them before. And, I mean, I think the thing I led with last time, Max, was how many teams in the country. I mean, there may be some at the smaller, lower major level. But how many teams have like this many guys returning in terms of the big three of Smith, Lawyer, and TKR that simply produced at a level and have played as many games together as these guys have, right? And I just think, like, if you're starting with that for Purdue, and that's where, on the Alabama side, if you're comparing and contrasting, how many games those guys played together? I mean, it's like, even with someone like Reitzel who's been there, I mean, he's not played with these guys as much, right? And that's where, like, Phylon is kind of, I hate to do the Alabama-Auburn comparisons, but Phylon stepping into kind of the same role as Pettiford, right? In that they are kind of the guy at point guard as a sophomore playing on a team where you have a lot of new pieces that are trying to fit together. And you have to be the guy that's in charge of leading the way there. And that's where, like, if you look at someone like Braden Smith, my goodness. I mean, this dude has played how many meaningful games? And just kind of, I think that for Purdue, and if you're wondering why they are such a big, title favorite, like, it's for that reason. Like, I just think you're not going to find a group out there with that kind of experience. And that's not even, even really mentioning much about CJ Cox, who also started how many games last year? I mean, he started the final, what was it? I don't know, 18 to 20 games of the season. I mean, really, he started I'm looking back, he started every game in Big Ten play except for the first two. So, and then he started every game in the tournament. So, I mean, yeah, like, that's just, you can't teach that kind of cohesiveness that Purdue has.
Yeah, Purdue returns just under 70% of minutes, 69.7% of minutes Purdue is returning.
Nice.
That's 8th in the country, 1st in Power 5 by a long shot. UConn, I believe, is 2nd, and it's like they're at like in the 50s of percent returning minutes. Like, Purdue in the Power 5 by far returning the most production. So that's a big thing. And if you flip it, Alabama last year was, depending on where you look, they're like top 10, top 15 in D1 experience, extremely old team. I think on KenPom they were 9th. I'm not 100% sure, but they were right up there. One of the most experienced teams in the country. You flip that to their Bart Torvik, their projected effective experience this year, and it's like sub 330. Very, very young team. So there's probably going to be just purely based on Purdue returning some of the most production in the entire country, regardless of mid-major, high major, and then Alabama becoming much younger compared to last year's veteran team. You would assume growing pains for Alabama, Purdue probably rocking and rolling early. Off of that, though, you're just looking at the graphic here. If you're watching, you've got Omar Meyer, the international recruit that was getting a ton of buzz this offseason. He'll be in there behind Braden Smith. You've also got sophomore Jakari Harris. No more Cam Heide for Purdue. He's on Texas now. So Heide was kind of that backup 3, starting kind of stretch 4-ish, shot just south of 40% from 3, played some meaningful minutes, but didn't fill up the stat sheet too much. Probably going to slide TKR down, in the big addition, the game changer, if you want to call it that, Blake. Big Oscar, coming from South Dakota State, one of the very best rebounders in the country last year, offensive and defensive, just a beast on the boards. Purdue also was pretty lacking in rim protection last year. Teams could get to the rim and attack. Maybe Big Oscar changes some of that for Purdue. You're looking at where Alabama can attack offensively. Phylon getting downhill, Bethea getting downhill. How is that Purdue rim protection going to be compared to last year? We'll be able to see that pretty early in November. And then for Purdue fans on the bench for Alabama, pretty loaded. I'm not going to lie. I've got Latrell Wrightsell in the starting graphic here. Could be Aiden Holloway. Both will probably play similar minutes. You also have graduate Houston Millette, sharpshooter. You've got 3 really solid high-ranked freshmen with Amari Allen, London Jemison, and Davion Hanna. And then in the front court, you've got Bristow, the transfer, 6'9", 6'10 transfer, and Noah Williamson, the 7-footer, the transfer. They're a little bit less depth in the front court than back court, but still, this is a pretty deep Alabama team. I think they've got a little bit more depth than Purdue. I forgot to mention the super tall Jacobson in behind Oscar there, so some front court depth for Purdue as well.
Well, I think that's the biggest question, right? Was like, how much of a difference does Big Oscar make for Purdue defensively? I mean, he's a double-double guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the biggest story of the game, maybe, because you mentioned specifically some of the numbers, and like you can take it a step further and say like, all right, they were. I'm looking on KenPom, 332nd in 2-point percentage defense. So team shot 56% against them from 2. Their block percentage was basically non-existent. And so, like, yeah, I think that's where it's something where if they don't get better in those kind of areas, like I think Big Baller Brett said in a comment a minute ago, just as you just said, like it's sort of Purdue's going to be a tough ask in terms of defending them, but it's just how do they defend Alabama? I think that's probably the biggest question here. And again, I know sometimes it's just easy when teams play the season before. You just go back and say, all right, well, this is exactly what happened last year. Just use that same formula, you do the same thing again. Because, sure, you go back and say, well, Alabama didn't shoot the ball that well in that game. But they did shoot exactly at that number in terms of from 2. They shot 56% from 2. And so they were able to kind of capitalize on those opportunities outside of just shooting the ball, from distance. And so, yeah, like I'm kind of fascinated by that because the big 3 did their thing last year for Purdue against Alabama. Even you call the big 4. I mean, they were basically the 4 guys that beat Alabama, right? I mean, it was TKR at 26, which we remember. We talked a lot about that game and his performance.
Yep.
Smith and Lawyer both had 17. Cox had 11. You had elsewhere you had 16 combined points from the other 3 guys that played the most minutes. So, that was just kind of the story. And so I think it's going to be interesting to see, like you said, on Purdue's side defensively, what are some of the areas of improvement there. But also for Alabama, it's just, hey, this is an early look at a team that I've kind of said gotten higher on. But I think there still is some things to prove, especially when it comes to some of those guys and how that rotation looks in the front court to me.
When I was diving into this game and I was looking at last year's matchup, one thing that I thought was just kind of fascinating, CJ Cox ended up shooting a really nice percentage from 3 on the year. He ended up having a great second half of the year from outside. But in November, he played 8 games, and he was 4 of 13 from 3. He was 3 of 3 against Alabama, 1 in 10 in the other 7 November games. I remember just looking back and being like, of course. You get some Mackey magic in the second half because Alabama was looking really good for the first 29-ish, 30 minutes of that game till those last 10 minutes Purdue takes over. One thing I wanted to mention, Blake, was last year, one thing that we can take. So this is a Purdue offense that their tempo has been sub 200 for 8 straight years. It's the classic Matt Painter, methodical half-court offense, extremely hard to stop. Last year, they were in the 300s, pretty sure. The game last year was Alabama's second slowest of the entire season. There was only 68 possessions in that game. That was the second slowest of the whole year. Thinking maybe this time, not at Mackey, now in Coleman, can Alabama play their style a little bit more and get those possessions from 68 up north of 70, get ripping and running a little bit, take advantage of that weak rim protection, the weak block rate. Alabama, the classic Nate Oates NBA offense, bunch of 3s, close 2s, nothing in between. The rim rate high, the 3 rate high. More possessions, favors the Tide, less possession favor Purdue. Purdue won the battle of tempo last year, but
think about how different this game would feel if it was at Purdue. If you flipped it, you played last year's game in Tuscaloosa, you played this year's game there, right? Because it would be such. I mean, Purdue'd probably be I don't know how many points, but like that to me would be all right, you've got the proven, experienced entity at home, and they're playing the team that, again, like we said, fully expect to be a top seed in the tournament in some form, but you still want to see a little bit early how, some of these new guys are going to mesh together. And like we said, there are some guys that we're waiting to see, are they going to be those kind of big breakout candidates and such? But the fact that it is in Tuscaloosa, it makes it kind of a lot more interesting because, yes, if Purdue's going to win, that experience is going to be something that can carry them. Just, being in a tough atmosphere on the road, playing a team that, again, is expected to be one of the top teams in the strongest conference potentially in the country. And, so I think that's kind of the setup here is everything in terms of just kind of how it plays out there. But you did bring up the point I was going to get to when I was looking at the possessions. I mean, that, again, it's just the style and seeing exactly what that looks like. Because, when you look at all the other possession-type games with Alabama, like, you're seeing a lot more 80s, high 70s, and all that, right? And so that's going to be a lot of us, I think, just in terms of the stylistic aspect of this whole thing.
Yeah, and one more thing, just to kind of, because you have the predicted odds from Bart Torvik, as Torvik is predicting this outcome to be Alabama 82, Purdue 81. So if you want to make odds, I'll pick them to -1 for Alabama, whatever you want to do there, over-under of 63. And so how you can try to find an edge there with our good friends at FanDuel is look at the predictive analytics last year to what they're predicting this year and where you disagree. So Purdue last year on KenPom, they had the 7th offense and 53rd defense. Torvik is predicting the 1st offense and 27th defense. So they're predicting the best, an offensive increase by a little bit. They were already one of the best in the country, but to be firmly the best in the country. But that defense, Torvik is predicting that defense to go from 53rd, somewhere in the 50s, to 27th. I don't agree with that. That's where I would disagree. But then for Alabama, they were the 4th offense, 28th defense. Torvik predicts 17th offense and 24th defense. I don't think Alabama's offense takes a step back from 4th to 17th. I disagree there. I think their offense is going to be a little bit better, but I also don't think their defense increases. So my play here would probably be an overplay, stuff like that. That is how, just one way you can, early in the season, you can compare predictive analytics to last year's, and you can see where the computer's projecting they're going to get better or worse, find out where you disagree, and there's your edge.
Yep, I'm with you. Well, again, you can check out our friends at FanDuel if you want to get an early look at these two teams. We said Purdue currently the favorites in terms of national title odds. Alabama is at, let's see where they're at. They're at plus 3,000. So they're in there in that, 15 to 18 type range, I guess, with some of these other teams. They have the same odds as Arkansas. So that's where they're at. So that's kind of where these two teams sit heading into it. Of course, we'll talk more about this game as we get closer. And as we said earlier, we're just kind of doing a random order here. I know there's some other big games out there, Max, that we will talk about when it comes to the non-conference games for SEC basketball. We have a long way to go to the season, so just keep that in mind. And we also will start to get more schedules coming out, which will be helpful as well. But there are some early thoughts on Alabama and Purdue. Max, what else do we need to jump into before we wrap up here?
I'm not sure. I'm all out.
Are you telling me that perhaps you've run out of jet fuel?
Listen. You cannot turn that on me.
I think the biggest lesson we learned today is that sometimes you take what Al has to say and you take it with a grain of salt. All right, it's not going to get everything right. You got to have the great prompts and all this other stuff, which we are not experts in. And so that is just something to note. But we thought we'd have fun with it. Some of it was a complete disaster, but it got a few things right. ChatGPT did. So I guess what we could do is at the end of the season, we compare results. Were our predictions better or were ChatGPT's better? We're going to find out. So we will find out. All right, on the way out, we focus on you guys, of course. And Bob, someone moved Max to the woodshed. You know.
I'm in the garage now. We're both garaging it.
Garage. We're both garaging it. Yeah. Hurt Life Rick. You're in the same house? No. It is funny though. Like this is kind of our setups right now.
Does Hurt Life Rick know where ChatGPT predicted LSU to finish?
Hey, Hurt Life Rick, go back and watch the first half hour of the show because ChatGPT has apparently been listening in on your conversations about the LSU Tigers. We're not going to spoil it for you, but go back and watch. Don't spoil it for them, chat. Go back and watch. All right. Some other stuff here from you guys. People are still asking about Stokes, by the way. Let me get a couple more questions in, and then we'll...
Aiden did make the graphic, just a different Aiden on the same team.
Caleb asked, where's Tennessee and Louisville? We'll get to it eventually. I mean, again, guys, we're doing one a week. Like, we got a lot of games still. The season less than 3 months away, but we still got quite a few we got to get to. So we'll get to Tennessee here coming up soon. We know Kentucky, North Carolina has been mentioned. We know there's some other games. There's plenty of others we're going to talk about. So
there's one early November with Kentucky, Michigan State, Sparty.
Michigan State still out there. We got Arkansas and Arkansas Duke. We did that one, right?
We did do Arkansas.
We got a lot more. We got a lot more. What happened to video game content? Still waiting on my internet to get fixed because we can't do it until my internet
there's a lag
speed gets upgraded a little bit, and that should be happening next week. But I said that like 3 weeks ago. So, but
that is
I
also
got sick,
true.
So we couldn't get it done. It'll get done soon. All right, Justin, where was Vandy discussed? Well, they were discussed, but ChatGPT, let's just say, was not high on the Commodores.
No, wasn't the best day.
No, was not. All right, what else we got? Cole, Vandy was done 30. Yeah,
they were.
Not a good day for the Commodores with ChatGPT. All right, did we answer this on Stokes? What's the T on this, Max Barr?
I will be honest. I am in the middle of a move. I have been driving all over the place, and there's been a few losses in the family the past 2 weeks. So I have been not on my research game. I'll just hand up. I'm not sure about Stokes. It's been a wild ride the past few weeks.
There's been a lot going on. We will get you an answer, Brian, because you know us. We don't like to just spew out stuff that we don't know the answer to.
Yeah.
And I've seen some people debate it, but like I don't have a great feel for it either. And so I don't want to give you an answer and act like I know everything because I don't.
We are not going to sit up here, guys, and act like we know everything. We're going to tell you when we don't know.
Yeah, that is it. So, all right. Let's see what else we need to get to here before we wrap up. Remember, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out. Hit the like button, too. There's a lot of people in here watching. I assume the ChatGPT poll got you here. And so, or maybe it was the rise of Malik Jet Henderson. Was it Henderson? Malik
We're going to have fun with Jet Henderson the whole year now.
Yeah.
And downtown McCree for 3.
Yes. So if you want a Malik Jet Henderson t-shirt, let us know. We'll see if we can get that added to the store before it opens up. And yeah, a lot more fun stuff on the way here. Check out our football stuff. As we said, that will be heating up a lot starting next week. And then, of course, the season starts the following week. Yours truly will be on a lot more football stuff here moving forward. So, hey, I'm going to try to do my part to help out with football this season. And so you'll get to see me on there a bit. And, of course, we'll keep the fun going with SEC basketball, where every night is a heavyweight fight. That shirt's got to be coming soon.
Got to be.
As always. So, all right. Hey, we appreciate you guys. Darren says,
yeah, thanks, guys.
Take that ChatGPT. Knows nothing. Get it out of here. So I think we are going to do this for football next week. So you guys can have some fun with that on the football side of things. All All right, Hurt Life Rick, you can buy this hat coming soon. Next week, be sure to check out any announcements. If you see any live streams that look pretty mysterious in terms of us hyping another big announcement, it's probably going to be the merch store. So, and you'll be able to get your hands on this hat, some other hats, and a lot of other merch here for the channel. So, all right, you guys are the best of the best. Some might call you the jet of this entire operation. We appreciate you watching, as always. We'll talk to you soon. Southeastern 16.